What's going on YouTube? We are going to introduce Barney today, who is a stray pure that was wandering around the neighborhood for a few weeks. Steph and I were finally able to get him. So just running through kind of our basic eval process here to fill you guys in on how we start to evaluate these dogs, temperament test these dogs, and how it dictates what kind of home they get into.
I just had a missed call from Duke, and we both always have our locations on just in case something happens. I called him back, he didn't answer. Look up the location. He's like 200 yards on the main road. So I'm assuming he stopped. I'm assuming he found a dog. So I'm just gonna go to the main road and peek out. And let's see what we find. Is there a dog in the car?
Went to that property, the fence guy that he talked to last week about trails. It's a bucky lookalike. He said he's been feeding him for like a week and he'll wander off. So I told him that he needs help bringing us off all this.
Don't try to steal her from me now.
Agwag.
No, she's mine.
What? Come to Papa.
See those?
Papa has you. Yeah.
Papa has you.
Papa has you now. So, I think we actually brought this up on the first podcast we did because we had to cut short and bail to go pick up Barney, the Pyrenees. That's why it was.
Honestly, this
yeah,
was
it
like
was
a
the first.
two-week
It was the
thing.
first Diaries of a Dog Rescue episode podcast with you, and you guys will notice towards the end we switched clothes because it was feeding time, but also because we had been tracking this Pyrenees that's been in the neighborhood for like 2 weeks. We've been following on the next door apps.
We started last rotate and the plan was to come back in at like 10, 11
Yeah.
and wrap up. But then we saw on the next door app that there was a Pyrenees that was running around that has been posted a few times. So we went and chased him and tried to catch him. Got to see him right here. You're going to see him running in the field.
There he is. Okay. Let's see. We don't have a plan.
Gotcha.
Zero plan.
So the first time we tried to loop him, I was trying to film for you guys as we did it. We pick up a lot of strays and we get a lot. And then like the last few times I've tried to film how we load or get them and we've missed. So I apologize, but I don't know. We need a third person for kind of protocol picking up a stray. They typically are more comfortable with Steph. So Steph distracted him. I came up from behind, looped him. And then obviously not a fan of the leash. That's a pure thing, stray dog thing. So I control the head, so I keep the leash really tight and just kind of guide them as Steph picks them up or vice versa so they don't redirect and bite. It's really hard to film obviously and do that. So I don't know, I'll look through and see what we got, but kiddo is with us. A few families actually took him in. They had pictures of him like in the bathroom and then he was out on the street the next day. I don't know how you do that as a human, but neither here nor there. So
Because it's not like he's destructive. Like, he's super quiet.
I don't know, people are weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, one lady was like, I can't keep him. He's starting to bond with my kid. My son really likes him. Like, I don't want him to think he has a friend. It's like, wow, that poor kid.
It was pretty awful, but...
So they took him in, threw him back out. So anyway, he's been out for like 10 to 14 days. But
like, I don't want my son to get attached to the dog.
We got an alert that he was, again, fairly close to us, like quarter mile up the road. So we went out. We were able to finally get him. I will say, just for educational purposes for you guys, when you take in a stray dog, be very cautious, right? We're all dog lovers. I understand that. Unless you're very seasoned, though, and you could really pick up on body language and, you know, how a dog's feeling, just be overly cautious. It will serve you better. And then again, with what Steph and I do, I'm not recommending you do this. This is just how we do things. Because at this point, this dog's been out for 2 weeks. It's hot. He's dehydrated.
Right. He's not feeling like himself.
We need to get him in the car at this point and not miss him. So he was obviously uncomfortable. Steph, typically, she's a little bit of a smaller structured person. Some of the stray dogs feel more comfortable around her.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a massive person, but bigger dude, typically dogs are a little more like,
Yeah. And you
I gotta
typically
look
have
up
a hat
there.
on,
And
too.
I always have a hat on, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Steph was able to get his attention. He came up, she was petting him. I looped him from behind. Peers in general are brutal on leash.
I don't think Barney has ever been on leash or had a collar on.
So he was trying to book it.
You're okay. You're okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, so at this point we have to get him in the car.
There are better ways to go about it. If you have time, you can go slow.
Right.
We were on a time crunch like we always are with the dogs. So
You're okay, Bubba's. You're okay. I'm gonna bring the car closer to you, okay?
Okay.
You're okay. You're okay. We're okay. I know. That's been scary. You're okay. You got it. Come on, baby.
The way we handle this typically, if it's a situation like this, or there's a dog on a busy freeway where we have to load them up, I'm going to control their muzzle with the lead and my hand. And again, that's because I'm comfortable, even with a larger dog, redirecting their face away in case they turn around and try and redirect and bite. If you're not comfortable that you can do that, do not do this.
Right.
Steph lifted him up from behind, and he was loaded into the car. One big tip, personal tip, I should stop saying tip. I get somebody in trouble. But anyway, I would recommend working fast. So again, yes, be cautious, but when you do decide to load that dog in your car, don't do the slow, it's okay.
Like it slowly put your arm underneath him and then wrap your other arm, because dog's already scared and you're doing some really creepy stuff by moving that slow.
That's also how dogs stalk each other. It's very slow, low to the ground. And
unfortunately, we didn't have a crate in the back of the car that he would fit into.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
So I highly recommend to place a dog in a crate, or when you load them, tie their leash or slip lead to a headrest or something away from your driver's seat. You don't want to tie it to the back of your headrest, because then they can obviously jump into the passenger seat or jump into your lap, depending on how large the dog is.
Yeah, make sure the dog's secure. And also, if you have a crate for whatever reason in your car, that's ideal, because you could probably lead them into the crate, tie the leash to the top of the crate, and you and your, hopefully partner can pick up the crate and load in the car. It's safer that way.
I know. It's been a long 2 weeks, huh? Good work, Wrangler. Good work, cowboy.
Now, we're in a position, obviously, where we can bring dogs back to our property.
Right.
For everyone else, if you are not in a position to do that, get them to a vet, have the vet scan for a microchip. They may actually have a family. It might be a situation where they got out, and the owners actually want them back. That's not the case with Barney. But outside of that, again, it sucks because shelters are overcrowded, but not everyone is in a position to take in a stray dog. I understand that. So the shelter would be your next bet. And that's because at least the shelter can give him basic medical, then basic medical.
Just pick him up. Just pick him up. Chips is watching us cuddle Guac. Of course he's upset. You guys gonna attack each other now?
Yeah. Somebody actually asked if they like each other. I don't know. Chips is a little stingy. They can give him basic medical, scan his microchip, and at least they have a shot. Because, depending on where the dog's at, they could be in a really bad situation. With the area we're in, it's unfortunate, but we see dead dogs on the side of the road weekly. Yeah. It's a really rough area, so the shelter at least is better than that. Okay, but Barney, you want to give everyone a brief intro of what happened after we scanned his microchip and medical?
Yep, so apparently someone in the neighborhood had scanned him the night before and found out he did have a microchip. They called the microchip company. It was not registered, but they were able to tell us what vet actually implanted the chip. So they suggested just calling the veterinary office and giving them the microchip number and seeing if, someone's information comes up. We did that on Monday morning because they were closed Saturday and Sunday. So Monday morning I called and they said, yep, this dog was seen. The last time the dog was seen was 2019. And so that puts us at, Barney being possibly 5 or 6 years old. But they tried to call the owner. Whoever answered the phone said that they had just gotten that number recently, that they don't own a Great Pyrenees. And when they sent them an email, the email bounced back. So their email doesn't work either. Everyone who lives in this neighborhood kind of knows each other.
Yeah.
Everyone is about 5 to 10 acres away, but everyone kind of knows each other. Everyone kind of knows what animals belong where. And
it's happened a lot.
No one knows where Barney came from. Yeah. And it was actually kind of sad. One of the first nights that we tried to catch him was like 3 days prior to actually catching him. But we see on Facebook that he's in front of someone's house. I message the woman. She sends me her address. And we pull up. And when we pull up our car and we open the doors, Barney literally ran to us like he knew us.
Yeah.
It was so sad. And then about 10 feet away, he's like, oh wait, I don't know you guys.
Yeah.
And started veering the opposite direction. But he was like tail wagging, ears were up, like he was coming to greet us, like we came back for him.
Well, that, and
So
there was a few families that picked him up that had mentioned he was really good with kids.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, you know,
Whenever there was
we'll
kids
still do
out.
the kid test, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming he probably had a family where he liked the kids. I don't know. Our vet is going to call that number again too. And
Yep.
our vet, being a vet that only works with rescue, especially cat at the front desk,
Yeah.
might be able to actually get the full story out of it, whether or not it is a new phone number or their dog. But
I mean, honesty is key. Just be honest.
I mean, yeah, you're.
Yeah, you're. But I mean.
Okay, yeah. So we get Barney to our vet. Overall, not bad. I mean, blood work, what you'd expect with a stray dog. Good food, TLC, and he'll be just fine. Hydration.
Yeah. He is heartworm positive though.
That was the one.
So with a dog that's heartworm positive, we start them on doxycycline for 30 days. They have to have 2 months of preventative. If you don't know if your dog is heartworm positive or not, don't just start giving them preventative. Take them to the vet, get the heartworm test done, and then start them on this whole process. But we do 30 days of doxycycline, 2 months of preventative, and then he will go in for his first injection. And then our vet will determine whether he needs 2 injections back to back or 1 injection 1 month, a second injection the next month. So it's either going to be a 60-day process or a 90-day process to get him completely cleared of heartworm. And then typically they don't start testing negative on a heartworm test for an additional like 4 to 6 months. I think that's the timeline. So, but yeah, we're gonna get him neutered first. We have to get that out of the way. And then once he's healed from that and we do the 30 days of doxy with the 2 months of preventative, we can go ahead and start the heartworm treatment.
Yep.
But other than that, I mean, his teeth were good. His ears were a little dirty, but not infected. The next thing for us, after we've given him like
was
a
clean.
week,
Fecal was clean.
Yeah, fecal was clean.
Which
That
is
was
shocking.
Yeah, I was surprised.
So we've had him for 5 days now. Typically, we let a dog decompress for 7, but he's done pretty good. He did really good at our vet. And our videographer Dustin is here, so we're going to run through our phase 1 of our temperament eval today to show you guys. I'm going to say this a lot until we're kind of through this, but again, I don't recommend doing this. Steph and I do this because we have to find out exactly what each dog is capable of, so we could place them in the best home possible. This is what we do. Okay. Well, we're just going to have this liability form that rolls every video.
And just so you guys know, because he's still new here, it's only been 5 days. And he's probably never had a bath in his life. Yes. He's gonna look a little grungy because we are working up to that, building his trust on, getting him in a bathtub or in a, we'll probably it's 90 degrees out. We'll probably use a hose outside with the shower setting on.
Steph wanted to address it.
Well, yeah,
because there are some judgy people.
It's like, what
but for everyone that follows us, you guys already know, we take in these dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. There's usually either medical or they're coming from a bad situation. Even with Barney, we're 5 days in, so we're going to do phase 1 of our temperament eval, which is very basic.
Yeah.
But stressing him out and bathing him, potentially restraining him,
not a priority.
Is not a priority.
No.
If it was some bad skin condition or Demodex, yes, your priorities change.
Yeah.
With him, he looks like a dog that's been outside for a few weeks. So yes, I would love to clean him up, and we will clean him up, but it's not at the top of my to-do list. I want him to decompress and feel comfortable with us.
But yes, we have to address it. There might be some people that don't get it.
But okay, yeah. I don't know. Yes. You want to meet a new friend?
Yeah.
You go say hi? He's been very friendly. I'm more curious about the camera, so definitely let him sniff the camera a little bit.
Yeah, he don't.
No, he's like, I don't care. He's like,
you want to sniff the camera?
He's like, I've been meeting new people for the last 2 weeks.
I made lots of friends in the neighborhood.
He's like, I actually have been on TV before. So he's actually been doing this.
Come on.
It's kind of sad.
Come on. Come on. You're
Again, a few people let him into the house when he was wandering around, have pictures of him in the bathroom, and then threw him back outside and didn't let him back in. So we're still working through that, but when we come into the yard, he sits and paws at the door. He's decided that he likes AC. And he likes being inside, so he panics a little bit when he first comes outside.
I'm going to let him off leash just to...
He's very quick to bolt back to his room. Yeah, good boy. So with him today, we're just going through phase 1 of our temperament eval. So there's 3 phases. We'll go through them all with you guys, but for phase 1, it's with a dog that again is new. Typically it's at the 7-day mark. We're doing it at the 5-day mark. We're not dealing with food yet. As far as identifying resource guarding with food, bones, we will start to introduce a toy and get a feel for it. You guys are gonna see me wet mess with his mouth, his tail, his paws, in a more gentle manner though. The way we progress this up, phase 1, obviously very gentle. Dog is just decompressed. I'm getting a feel for kind of what they can tolerate. Yeah. By phase 3, I'm really pushing their buttons. I'm trying to get them worked up to simulate what it would be like if there's a 5-year-old in the house. So I'm a little bit of a 5-year-old jerk.
Typical.
And
just act like yourself.
Yeah, thanks. That's just because,
Sorry,
again,
right
I want to know if there can be kids in the house, because, there might be kids that run up and pull their tail, play with their ears, jump on their back. I'm not going to jump on their back.
Well,
run around and grab their food. So phase 3 is very extreme. Phase 1 is just getting kind of a baseline idea of what their temperament looks like.
By phase 3, we're upping the value of things that the dog has.
Yeah, we get full on like bully sticks.
Yeah. Things that they can, it takes them a while that they're working on and removing that or trying to take it away. Each phase, we kind of bring it up a notch.
Yeah.
Of that annoying 5-year-old.
Yeah. Boy. Oh my goodness.
And as you guys can see, like, his head's a little down. You can tell he's a little nervous, but it's nothing crazy where we would stop at this point, because we're still being gentle. For him right now, he's getting pets, he's getting love. But we don't know if Barney...
I'm not trying to catch him off guard.
Right.
I'm seeing if he has basically sensitive spots.
Right.
And I'm also controlling his head.
Right.
Just in case he does decide to turn it on, like 0 to 60 real quick, so at least I can avoid getting bit.
Well, and something that we did learn at our vet, when they were taking blood and they had him in a position where he had his head up a little restrained, and they weren't able to get the vein the first time around, and they went in for the second time.
He did give him a little lip.
He gave them a little lip, so we know that he does give warnings. So, we have that going for us. I think he would warn us if we were doing something that he didn't like or felt uncomfortable. Great Pyrenees by nature are super tolerant dogs.
Yeah, they can handle a lot.
They are bred to take care of livestock. And so they're used to like little baby animals all over them and crawling all over them. So they're typically very tolerant dogs, but us being new to him, he's already an adult dog. He's probably set in his ways. We're going to treat this first eval as just a gentle petting session, pretty much.
Oh, I check those toofers.
Oh, nice toofers.
Nice toofers, huh? Now we're going to get you off leash. So not using high value items like food just yet, but I do want to see if I can get him just engaged with a toy a little bit. How he takes to me taking that toy and seeing if he's going to guard it.
What does Peppa have? Also working against us, Great Pyrenees don't really care for toys.
Hey.
What is this? I think Bucky has been our only Great Pyrenees that chases toys.
If he's not interested in a toy, that's okay.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
What is it?
He's like, I've never had a toy before.
Oh my goodness.
Do we have to up the ante a little bit?
He's like, I don't care.
No, not much, huh?
No, you don't care.
Oh, a little rough house. Yeah. Again, Pyrenees have such good temperament. This might be really boring because he's going to fly through this. Beautiful. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see how he does with the brush. I mean, pretty straightforward here.
Yeah,
It's like, okay.
He has so many little things stuck in his fur. You were out for a pretty long time. I'm pretty sure he was an outdoor dog.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Is you in love with me?
He's huge. He was definitely a working peer.
Yeah. We'll see how he takes to us cleaning his ears.
Yeah.
Not today. Probably on the next session, just because peers do tend to get ear infections quite often, and his ears are pretty dirty. But sometimes that's their tipping. Yeah, that's their tipping point. Like one of our personal Great Pyrenees is Opal. She's a sweetheart for everything. You go to clean her ears, she's running from you.
She's giving you teeth,
and she's
alligator
giving you
rolling.
teeth. I'm like, girlfriend, she's like 14 years old, and she will fight you. If he was a working dog, and his owners do want him back, I think we ruined him because we introduced what AC feels like, and he no longer wants to be an outdoor dog. I think we might have ruined you, buddy.
Do you know sit? Oh, we know sit.
Oh.
Oh, do we know paw? No? There's paw up. Good boy.
Shit. These are dog treats.
Do you get
I
excited?
heard you have chicken.
Do you get excited about anything? Well, so peers will do this too sometimes though, where they don't like taking things from your hand. Here you go. Let's see. No, they're just like, yeah, dude, those are trash. Wow. Well, you might be a cakewalk.
AC.
AC.
Nah, So guys, yeah, he is unaltered. He's a 5 or 6 year old Great Pyrenees that is unaltered. And there it is. Nope. Nope. We're going to probably have to put him on leash to correct him. Because as of right now, we don't know how he takes correction. So if I overcorrect him right now, he could redirect on me. Because he's like, lady, I don't know you, and you're trying to correct me for something that I really need right now, right? He really needs to hump me right now. We'll see occasionally on Facebook dogs being rehomed, you know, because they're having some sort of behavioral issues. They're getting into fights with the resident dog, or they're being really pushy with a kid, or all of a sudden their personality has changed. And then you start asking questions like, oh yeah, the dog's not altered. And typically their behavior starts to change between 1 and 2, because that's when their hormones start to go crazy and they're becoming the adult version of themselves. So the fact that Barney is 100 pounds, unaltered, was probably an outdoor dog or a working dog. I don't know if he's ever been corrected of that behavior. And maybe he started doing that and they threw him outside because they couldn't deal with it. So, you know, now we have a large dog who is unaltered, who has marking behaviors. He hasn't marked inside the house, but he'll come out here and mark all over the yard. And he hasn't done it to Duke, but he's tried to hump me multiple times. And the first time that he tried to do it, again, I thought he was just giving me a paw, because Pyrenees do that. They love to give you a paw when you start petting them. And then he bit my shirt and was holding on to my shirt and was doing like really close mouth breathing. I was like, I already knew it was coming. So I gently pushed him off and I walked out of the room. Again, we don't know if he's ever been corrected. So I don't want to give him a super harsh correction when I don't have a leash to kind of, you know, hold him back if something were to happen, because I was in a room with him. So we are going to see how he takes correction as well. That's going to be part of our eval process. We're not going to do it today because he still doesn't know us. He doesn't trust us. And we're going to just give him a correction of something that he feels he needs at the moment. So I'm sure that'll be probably phase 2 of our eval process, is correcting him from that behavior and see how he takes correction.
Well, yeah. And I'll say, I mean, the first thing we do before you really get into that, we have to start building a training relationship.
Right.
Which is why basic obedience work is a big focus pretty much off the bat. Like I said, it's at that 7-day mark where they've decompressed, where it's like, okay, basic obedience work starts, leash work starts, evals start.
Right.
So we're about to get the ball rolling here.
Yeah.
Because again, if you don't have any kind of training foundation and you're going to correct a dog, they don't respect you yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Mr. Barney has taken a liking to me. So,
Yes.
Poor kiddo. But that's, you know, we talk about the importance of spay and neutering your animals. From a behavioral standpoint, you know, I don't know many people that are going to want a 100-pound dog that's trying to mount them.
Yeah. Phase 1 real basic, but it'll give you guys a good idea kind of what our process looks like here. Because again, the ultimate goal is just to learn as much as we can about these dogs. Adopting out dogs is terrifying. We have our application. You guys know what our process is at this point, and I like our process. But we put all these things in place, again, to make sure our dogs are safe, because no matter what you do, there's no perfect way to adopt out a dog. You can't fully vet a family, an individual in a week, 2-week period. It's not possible. I mean, it takes years to truly get to know somebody. So I want to make sure that when Barney and the other dogs go into a home, based on our assessment, they're in a really good spot to succeed, and that family's in a good spot to succeed.